So Crobat in Pokemon Sword and Shield has really like overall average stats. 85 health, 80 defenses are not bad. You can survive some hits, but you're not super tanky. 90 attack and 70 special attack. Again, you have some power behind them, but it's not super strong. Its best thing is its 130 speed, which is really fast still. You outspeed a lot of things. And its abilities are Inner Focus and Infiltrator. Inner Focus is good because of the Intimidate and things like Fake Out, but if you're not getting hit with an Intimidate or a Fake Out, really, it's not the greatest ability. It has situational, and so is Infiltrator. It ignores subs, reflects, light screens, all of these. Very rarely will Safeguard ever matter. Same with Mist. Auroraville, light screen, or reflect. Again, like, it's situational. Unless you go up against one of these things, otherwise the ability will be useless 9 times out of 10. But Infiltrator makes a bigger difference when it comes down to if it actually activates, because ignoring subs is really good because they take 25% of their health and then you hit them anyway. So that's a KO in most Pokemon, especially ones that are using Substitute. Ignoring Auroraville, Light Skin, or Reflect's also really good to avoid those. So I would say it's up to you on your ability fully, but like Inner Focus if you're worried about Intimidate or Fake Out, Infiltrator if not, just because you'll probably get more use out of it, but it just depends on what you think you'll run into more. And Crobat's typing is Poison Flying, which honestly is a pretty good typing. You're weak to Rock, Electric, Psychic, and Ice, and you're immune to Ground because of Flying, but you have a 4 times resistance to Fighting, and you resist Poison, Fairy, and another 4 times resistance with Bug, Grass, and Bug, Grass, and Fighting you have 4 times resistances to, so you could switch in on those and be just fine, especially with 85 health and 80 defenses. But as long as you really stay away from Ice, especially because of all the dragons. These aren't the most common things, so you don't have to worry about, like, it's not going to be a thing where every person you go up against, every Pokemon you go up against is going to have something super effective on Crobat, especially if they don't have Ice. So it's pretty good typing overall. But one way to make use of Crobat is just Endure, Lychee Berry. So you want to get hit, you want to switch it on something that you know can do a lot of damage to you, pretty much one-shot you. It doesn't matter, as long as you get under a 4th health, but something that'll do a ton of damage. And what you want to do is come in, take a hit, and Endure. You want to come in, Endure, take a hit, proc the Lychee Berry, and then Acrobatics will do 100 base power. I will have 110 base power. Cross Poison's good stab. Last move can either be Crunch or something like a Zen Headbutt's also an option. Leech Life if you want to gain health back, which does honestly not gonna make that big of a difference. But max health, max speed, or max attack, max health. You could run either Jolly or Adamant. I like Jolly just because you're raising your attack anyway, and you don't want to get outsped with this, because if you get outsped, you would just lose. It's as simple as that. But especially at the end game, this Crobat's really good. Or if it's something because you're in a weird stage of tankiness, it's where you can survive some hits, but you can't survive a lot, or you're not like super tanky. So you could also just attack, take a hit, and then Endure into the Lychee Berry. That way you get a hit off, depending on what they have. Especially if they don't have anything super effective, you kind of can play around it. But if you also know that they're going to use something super effective on you, you can come out and use a weakness policy with this. And pretty much come in, if you know they have a rock move or something like they have one of these moves, you just come in, Endure, weakness policy procs, and then you have +2 attack and speed, or +2 attack, special attack, and you're already just fast. So you can do some things like that and play through there. But another way Crobat is, his attack and special attack are close enough to where you can throw in a special move. It's if you want, like for example, this one's more of just a full damage Crobat / Dynamax, depending on if you want to Dynamax him or not. It's up to you. Heat Wave, I like Heat Wave here for Steel types, because Steel type's a big problem for you because they're immune to poison and flying. They resist, so it can be a problem. It hits them super effective, especially if they bring in a physical wall to do your Crobat. But if you want to run 4 attack moves, or if you want to Dynamax, Crunch is good. Dual Wing Beat. I like in this one, since you're just going full damage, you're not worried about Sash or anything. I like Brave Bird over Dual Wing Beat just for the extra damage. Just for the extra damage on this one. So pretty much just come in and do a lot of damage with Crobat. And this is a special Crobat, which pretty much Sash, Nasty. I've done that like 4 times. Sash, Nasty Plot, and go from there. You could also run. If you want to Dynamax, well, I would come in Nasty Plot and then 3 coverage moves. I like Sludge Bomb, at least running Sludge Bomb. Air Slash is if you want it or not. You don't have to run Sludge Bomb. That's up to you, just because Sludge Bomb is like honestly, like, Air Slash, because it's like, okay, 75, but it's stab, so it might be a difference. Dark Pulse in this last spot. Heat Wave's also an option. Giga Drain's an option if you want the coverage, but it's not the greatest. Same with Shadow Ball. If you're running Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball, it's pretty much one or the other. You don't really need to run both, unless you're like really worried about hitting every single thing neutral and you give up some super effective hits. Hurricane's high risk, high reward as a flying type move, stab. But I like Heat Wave. I like if you're running 4 moves. If you're running just Sash 4 moves, I like running Heat Wave and Dark Pulse in that other spot. But you could also, where is it? If you want to run Nasty, if you want to Dynamax this too, I would run something like this. But if you want to run just the best you can, honestly, I would probably get rid of Air Slash for Nasty Plot. And run something like this, Nasty Plot, Sludge Bomb, and then 2 coverage moves. Just because Air Slash is not, unless it crits, it's not, or flinches, it's not going to do very much at all. But one thing about Crobat is Crobat has a lot of these type moves, where it has like Hypnosis, for example. If that hits, that's a big thing. It's fast with Taunt, it can do something like that. It actually gets Tailwind, which also is a really good thing, especially for allies. And being decently bulky, you can run Tailwind in doubles with Crobat and pretty much survive that turn. It also has access to Confuse Ray, so it has pretty good like status moves that it can make use of, some things like that. But some of the other moves Crobat learns, Leech Life, for example. Leech Life and Giga Drain are coverage. Leech Life gives you health, but it could be the difference between, it could be a big difference or not. It just depends on what you hit with it and then what you get hit back with, because you're kind of bulky, but not the bulkiest. Shadow Ball, Giga Drain's good coverage too. Shadow Ball, good coverage, but Shadow Ball with Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse has a chance to flinch. This lowers their special defense, which I like the chance to flinch a little bit better. Plus the dark coverage. Toxic can't miss on poison types, so it also being semi-bulky, you can do some toxic stally things with Crobat. But some of the other things Crobat learns, Screech harshly lowers their defense. Poison Fang has a good chance to flinch and poison. Quick Guard in doubles as a support Crobat. Protects you against priority, sort of like Psychic Terrain. Air Slash can flinch, but Steel Wing I wouldn't really use. Steel Wing's coverage move, but low damage, and the defense raises a matter. Payback Assurance, Venoshock. You can do some Venoshock things too with a special Crobat, especially in like doubles. If you have somebody who's next to you who's like Poison Gas or something like that, you can make use of Venoshock. Or if you just have maybe Toxic Spikes, like Toxic Spikes Venoshock's pretty good. Is a really good combo because it does the extra damage. Same with Hex. If you were planning on poisoning them, Hex and Venoshock's really good. So if they resist the poison or their steel, Hex will do a ton of damage. Acrobatic's really good with sashes. Sludge Bomb. It sucks it doesn't learn Sludge Wave though. That does kind of suck. Heat Wave and doubles too hits both opponents, which is really good. Exos is another option to Leech Life, but I wouldn't really run that. If you have Leech Life, I would run Leech Life over Exos pretty much every time. Barrier Bird's really good. Zen Headbutt has a chance to flinch. Also, Venom Drench hits both opponents in doubles. So if you're doing doubles, if you're in doubles and you use like Poison Gas or you burn them, or you poison them, that's actually a really good combo. Again, Hypnosis, if you play around it. It also learns Defog, so if you want to have it come in and just reset everything, it's pretty good for that. But that's how to use Crobat in Pokemon Sword and Shield.